Chapter 2246. Not much immortal essence left. Northern Plains. Golden light floated in the sky like thin threads, gathering and forming a huge golden aurora that permeated into the ground and spread out widely. The commotion was huge and the aura was vast. This was giant sun, immortal, venerable, refining Northern Plains' natural luck path down marks. But at this time, the golden light that filled the area dimmed a moment later. This core area of Northern Plains returned to its original state. In the air, giant sun, immortal, venerable, opened his eyes slowly. He had a handsome face, and his mouth, nose, eyes, and brows were all thick and straight. But currently, his expression was cold and had a faint trace of helplessness. The three venerables tried to kill spectral soul demon venerable, but failed because of Fang Yuan's disturbance. Afterwards, giant sun, immortal, venerable returned to Northern Plains and refined luck path down marks there instead. After a period of time, the results were abundant. Currently, he had already completed a stage of his plans. All the luck path down marks of Northern Plains core area were refined by him. His luck path down marks covered the wisdom path area that star constellation immortal venerable had refined earlier, allowing him to cancel out some of star constellation immortal venerable's advantage in this place. However, giant sun immortal venerable could do nothing against the wisdom path down marks that star constellation immortal venerable had already refined. But in the future, if they fought here, although star constellation immortal venerable would get a down mark amplification, giant sun immortal venerable would also receive the same bonus. He would not lose his territorial advantage. But I don't have much immortal essence left. Giant sun immortal venerable sighed to himself. The refinement of natural down marks expended a lot of rank 9 immortal essence. Initially, giant sun immortal venerable was only refining the luck path down marks of the vicinity around him. It was like he was building a ball-shaped spider web. From an initial, it grew into a small ball, and finally a large ball. The larger the ball expanded, the more down marks he would encounter. To refine these luck path down marks, he would expend an increasingly terrifying amount of immortal essence. Currently, giant sun immortal venerable only had around 100 yellow apricot immortal essence beads left. This forced him to stop here. His immortal essence reserves were reaching a critical level. He had to leave some for emergencies. Giant sun immortal venerable's rank 9 immortal aperture could produce yellow apricot immortal essence. This was his only source of immortal essence production. Longevity Heaven could not produce any. Even though Longevity Heaven did not annex any 9 Heaven's fragments and was not corroded by Heaven's will, after Giant Sun Immortal Venerable died in his era, it stopped producing immortal essence. Right now, even though Giant Sun Immortal Venerable had revived, the venerable aperture that he had was the current one. It had not passed one chaotic disaster yet. Furthermore, this second aperture had also just started developing. It was not flourishing and did not produce a large amount of immortal essence. That was unless Giant Sun Immortal Venerable annexed Longevity Heaven. But if he did that, he would gain a huge number of luck path down marks. It would destroy his plan of cultivating blood path. I need to raise blood path to a certain level first before I can regain my previous life's foundation. This development will be costly, but I must endure it. Blood path will be of utmost importance when I face the other venerables in the future. Thankfully, even though I am low on immortal essence, the other two are in an even worse state. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable smiled to himself. All along, he had been thinking that immortal essence was his advantage. Even though he could not refine more luck path down marks, Giant Sun Immortal Venerable did not slack off. He waited for his immortal essence to replenish while comprehending blood path. Blood Sea Ancestor was actually Giant Sun Immortal Venerable's clone. Blood Sea Ancestor created blood path and left behind countless blood path inheritances after he died. Most were mortal level and contained mortal killer moves and mortal goo. But he had 9 true inheritances of goo immortal level. That was the peak of blood path when he died. These 9 were blood skull goo, blood handprint goo, blood chi goo, blood sweat goo, Mincy's blood goo, blood shadow goo, blood battle goo, blood deity goo, as well as the method to raise and enslave the ancient desolate beast violent blood dragon BAT. It was a pity that Blood Sea Ancestor was targeted by heavenly cord in his life. Even after his death, Many inheritances were ruined by them. Thankfully, Blood Sea left behind countless mortal inheritances. Most of the 9 true inheritances also displayed their worth. The one who obtained the most true inheritances was Southern Borders Gu Immortal Fang Yuan, in his younger days. He found Blood Handprint Immortal Gu in Southern Borders Blood Tide Pit. He later obtained Blood Shadow Gu's true inheritance. Northern Plains Mincy's Blood Immortal Gu was obtained by Dongfang. Changfan, Western Desert's Blood Qi Immortal Gu true inheritance was obtained by Demon Immortal Qi Ju.As for the true inheritance regarding the ancient desolate beast Violent Blood Dragon Bat. It was obtained by Shadow Sects Song, Zixing, Central Continent's Blood Deity. Immortal Gu true inheritance was fought over by the 10 great ancient sects. They destroyed over half of it, and the incomplete Blood Deity Immortal Gu recipe ended up in the hands of Myriad Dragon As for the remaining 3 true inheritances. Because of the changing terrain, a volcano erupted and destroyed Blood Skull Immortal Gu's true inheritance. Blood Sweat Gu was taken mysteriously and had never been shown in public. It was possible that the person who took it met with an accident. Blood Battle Gu's true inheritance was by chance destroyed by an immemorial desolate beast. After Giant Sun Immortal Venerable revived, he took all of the Blood Path research results that the Northern Plains Huang Jin tribes had, as well as Longevity Heaven's research gains. Next, he instructed Earth Extremity Gon Ni to refine Immortal Gu. The result was that they obtained several Blood Path Immortal Gu. Among them, there was Blood Battle Immortal Gu.As for the other 7 Immortal Gu, other than Blood Deity. The rest had been tested. It was confirmed that all of them were already existing in the world. Without an alternative, Giant Sun Immortal Venerable had to temporarily turn Imitation Gu into Blood Relation Gu and barely created a Blood Path formation that helped him to revive during the battle in Crazed Demon Cave. I have already digested the primordial domain regarding Blood Path. My current Blood Path attainment level has also reached Supreme Grandmaster. But there were too few Blood Path Immortal Gu. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable had first absorbed the primordial domain in Crazed Demon Cave to become a Supreme Grandmaster in Luck Path. Afterwards, he focused on Blood Path. He obtained a lot of the primordial domain, but did not have time to digest them earlier. Now, he had already used up all of the primordial domain regarding Blood Path. In terms of attainment level, he was the #1 person in the world regarding Blood Path. But currently, he was in an awkward state of lacking relevant Immortal Gu. He needed a large quantity of crucial Blood Path Immortal Gu. Among them, the ones that Giant Sun Immortal Venerable wanted the most were Blood Asset, Blood Skull, Bloodline, Blood Relation, and others. But in fact, these Immortal Gu were already owned. Gon and I had been refining all sorts of Blood Path Immortal Gu for Giant Sun Immortal Venerable. Blood Rope Immortal Gu was one of the products. But these Immortal Gu were too low-ranked. They did not suit Giant Sun Immortal Venerable. These Blood Path Immortal Gu needed to be rank 8 at least. This job was too difficult for Gon and I to complete. Gon and I cultivated Earth Path and Refinement Path. She was not a pure Refinement Path Gu Immortal. Even if she was, the success rate of refining rank 8 Immortal Gu was just too low. If Longhair Ancestor were still around, it would be much simpler. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable started to miss Longhair Ancestor. Back then, he had asked Longhair Ancestor to refine all those Luck Immortal Gu. He managed to create 88 true Yang building. Fang Yuan took the initiative to refine so many Blood Path Immortal Gu. Regardless of this situation, or whether I need to advance my other Blood Path Immortal Gu, I will need to transact with him. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable found that he could not avoid Fang Yuan. Recently, Feng Yang publicly transacted with Fang Yuan. This showed Giant Sun Immortal Venerable that Heavenly Court had an ambiguous attitude towards him. Since Heavenly Court was attempting this, if Giant Sun Immortal Venerable did not follow, Star Constellation Immortal Venerable and Fang Yuan would leave him in the dust. I'll let Heavenly Lord Baizu handle this, and buy Blood Path Immortal Gu from Fang Yuan. Humph, isn't he quite close to Fang Yuan? Giant Sun Immortal Venerable made a decision. Next, he started to deduce more Blood Path Immortal Gu recipes and killer moves. Blood Path Supreme Grandmaster attainment level was his greatest assurance. Of course, there was another aspect. He was using his methods to look for the Blood Path research results of the various super forces. and also the blood path inheritances left behind by other geniuses. After all, deducing immortal goo recipes and killer moves took time and effort. If he could use established inheritances as reference, he would save a lot of time and energy. Heavenly Court. 2 days ago, star constellation Immortal Venerable had already stopped refining Heavenly Court's wisdom path down marks. It was not that she was unwilling to, but her situation was the same as Giant Sun Immortal Venerable. Their immortal essence reserves were reaching critical levels. They had no choice but to stop. But star constellation Immortal Venerable's situation was different from Giant Sun Immortal Venerable in her previous life. Her venerable aperture was contributed to Heavenly Court, and because Heavenly Court had devoured many immemorial 9 heavens fragments, it was corroded by Heaven's will, and her own wisdom path down marks were turned back into natural down marks. Thus, she could not retrieve her previous venerable aperture like Giant Sun Immortal Venerable to raise her own down marks to a colossal scale, but she had her own advantage. Heavenly Court contained a huge number of wisdom path down marks, far beyond what she had in her previous life, because Heavenly Court had existed for 3 million years, during which countless rank 8 goo immortals had appeared. Their immortal apertures were also fused into Heavenly Court. If she fully refined all the wisdom path down marks in Heavenly Court, star constellation Immortal Venerable would receive amplification that was far beyond Giant Sun Immortal Venerable inside. Longevity Heaven. These last 2 days, star constellation Immortal Venerable had been deducing killer moves. She wanted to use Star Eye's Immortal Goo and others to modify her own combat system. Similar to Giant Sun Immortal Venerable, she had absorbed a lot of the primordial domain. Her star path became Supreme Grandmaster again, and together with her wisdom path cultivation, she was much more adept than Giant Sun Immortal Venerable in modifying killer moves. When refining natural down marks, the immortal essence expenditure was huge. But when deducing killer moves, for the case of star constellation Immortal Venerable, the immortal essence expenditure was of an acceptable level. Relying on her current venerable aperture, the production of immortal essence was greater than the amount she expended. But the most important thing is to refine all of Heavenly Court's wisdom path down marks. If she completed that, star constellation Immortal Venerable would be able to use a killer move to conceal Heavenly Court's information. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable would not be able to use Longevity Heaven's luck path down marks to forcefully inspect it. Things were difficult to do openly, but easy to do secretly. Star constellation Immortal Venerable knew this clearly. After I blocked Giant Sun Immortal Venerable's investigative method, I will break the truthful floating ice and retrieve derivation goo. It will be helpful in our human path development. In terms of immortal essence, Giant Sun Immortal Venerable should have an advantage. In terms of goo refinement, Fang Yuan has the advantage. But I have rank 9 derivation immortal goo. If I can use it well, I can surpass the 2 venerables. Star constellation Immortal Venerable calculated internally to in the contest of 3 venerables. Although they were not physically fighting, their contest had taken a different form. Refining down marks, immortal essence reserves, rank 9 immortal goo. All these various aspects were crucial points that the venerables competed in, undeniably. Whoever had the advantage in these aspects would have a higher chance of winning in the end. Chapter 2247. Fang Yuan's second rank 9 immortal goo. Chapter 2247. Fang Yuan's second rank 9 immortal goo. Eastern Sea. This is about enough. I should stop now. Fang Yuan willed as he stopped refining down marks. The sovereign immortal aperture had 100 beads of yellow apricot immortal essence stored. But Fang Yuan did not stop refining natural down marks because of issues with his immortal essence reserves. The truth was, he refined Eastern Sea's refinement path down marks openly, while secretly unsealing the truthful floating ice in his aperture. Most of his yellow apricot immortal essence beads were used to unseal the truthful floating ice. Only a small portion were used to refine Eastern Sea's refinement path down marks. Because of his action, Star Constellation Immortal Venerable and Giant Sun Immortal Venerable stayed in their territories. They did not come to attack Fang Yuan. Oh? Giant Sun Immortal Venerable stopped refining natural down marks. Fang Yuan's eyes shone with luster. This information could not be hidden, Because the three venerables paid a lot of attention to each other, Fang Yuan soon caught wind of this. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable should not have much immortal essence left. Although Star Constellation Immortal Venerable is holed up inside Heavenly Court, her situation should be similar. Fang Yuan let out a sigh of relief. With the two of them having low immortal essence, the chance of them attacking Fang Yuan was very low. Their threat towards him also fell by many times. Thankfully, I took a risk earlier and refined rank 9 Heavenly Essence Treasure Imperial Lotus. Otherwise, I'd be in a tough predicament now. In the contest of three venerables, if one side lagged behind, they would not be able to catch up easily. After all, the three venerables were all elites of elites. Currently, in terms of immortal essence reserves, I am already on par with the others. But truthfully, I have a lot more advantage than the two venerables. Fang Yuan evaluated. Firstly, Heavenly Essence Treasure Imperial Lotus was simply too incredible and useful. Next, Fang Yuan's Sovereign Immortal Aperture had time path methods in effect. The rate of time was faster than the two venerables. In contrast, because of conflicting Tao marks, Star Constellation Immortal Venerable and Giant Sun Immortal Venerable did not have any time path methods that could be effective on their immortal apertures. And finally, Fang Yuan's Sovereign Immortal Aperture had far deeper foundation than the two venerables who had just started developing theirs. The yellow apricot immortal essence he produced exceeded theirs. With all three elements, Fang Yuan's yellow apricot immortal essence production far surpassed the two venerables. Currently, while Fang Yuan refined the natural Tao marks, he showed signs of weakness. He constantly had to stop and wait. Because of obscured heavenly secret, the two venerables did not know that Fang Yuan possessed rank 9 Heavenly Essence Treasure Imperial Lotus. And because they knew about the Sovereign Immortal Aperture's details, they knew the trait of non-conflicting Tao marks. They did not think that Fang Yuan would take a risk to accelerate the time flow.As. For the Immortal Aperture Origin Core's production of Immortal Essence, the two venerables knew that the Sovereign Immortal Aperture had just undergone a chaos tribulation and also got hit by Giant Sun Immortal Venerable's Fortune and Disaster Coexists killer move. Thus, they underestimated the Sovereign Immortal Aperture's current foundation, especially during this period of time. Fang Yuan refined Gu in Treasure Yellow Heaven and was willing to pay Immortal Gu to purchase all sorts of resource points and establish earth vein and water veins. He did not conceal anything.I in the eyes of the two venerables. Such an action of urgently developing his immortal aperture meant that the Sovereign Immortal Aperture had suffered immense losses in Crazed Demon Cave. Fang Yuan guessed the two venerables' thoughts. In their eyes, I need to work on raising my immortal essence production. While refining rank 9 Immortal Gu is too dangerous, accelerating time flow will also cause tribulations to occur more quickly and expose my weakness. Thus, I can only build more resource points to raise my Immortal Aperture Origin Core so that I can produce more yellow apricot immortal essence. But if I make a small blunder, the two venerables will immediately be suspicious of me. Especially Star Constellation Immortal Venerable. As the number one person in wisdom path throughout history, it will be extremely difficult to deceive her. Fang Yuan was currently treading on thin ice. He knew that maintaining the status quo was the best form of victory. He could not afford to make any small mistakes. If a single small mistake appears, the two venerables would analyze it carefully before quickly taking attempts to probe the truth. If the truth was exposed, what would happen? Fang Yuan would definitely be attacked by both venerables together. Fang Yuan did not know how long he could hide this. After all, he was facing the two of the greatest geniuses throughout human history. It was possible that he would be exposed at the next moment. If such a situation happened, Fang Yuan would not be surprised and no longer distracted by refining the refinement path Tao marks. Fang Yuan started to unseal the truthful floating ice with his full strength. Intuition told him that a huge gain was about to appear, and sure enough, several days later, his Heaven Path attainment level rose to Quasi-Grandmaster. Even though it did not reach Grandmaster, Fang Yuan had a deep foundation. He developed a strong sense of confidence. If I deduce with all my effort now, I can definitely create a Heaven Path killer move that can allow me to take the primordial domain. Fang Yuan's portion of the primordial domain had always been kept in Treasure Yellow Heaven. Goods and treasure yellow heaven could not be used on the spot. Thus, Fang Yuan could not sell his own clone and absorb the primordial domain there. There was no chance of this happening. Fang Yuan had to retrieve the portion of the primordial domain and absorb them to raise his attainment levels. Unsealing the truthful floating ice mainly increases heaven path down marks, followed by heaven path attainment level, and finally, the attainment level of other paths. This last effect is barely evident. It is only an additional effect of the truthful floating ice and is extremely insignificant. Only by using the primordial domain can I raise the attainment levels of all my paths to a huge degree. But, right now, is there a need to do it? After careful consideration, Fang Yuan shook his head. Deducing the heaven path killer move was not hard for Fang Yuan. His worry were the two venerables. Once he took out the primordial domain, he would have exposed his heaven path method. The two venerables would first be alerted. Fang Yuan had the sovereign immortal body, with so many portions of the primordial domain. If he digested them, his attainment levels would rise and cause him to become much more threatening. Afterwards, the two venerables would be suspicious. Why would Fang Yuan possess such a heaven path method? He did not use it in the past. Now that he had the heaven path method, it meant that his heaven path cultivation had improved greatly. That would make them think of the truthful floating ice. After all, Fang Yuan obtained the most pieces of truthful floating ice among the three venerables. If Fang Yuan improved in heaven path because he unsealed the truthful floating ice, then where did he get the immortal essence beads needed to do so? Star Constellation Immortal Venerable and Limitless Demon Venerable had cooperated for 1,000,000 years to maintain the crazed demon formation. She even assimilated with the Tao and created the killer move human executing heaven's work. She definitely knew that unsealing the truthful floating ice required immortal essence. Once she found out, she would inform Giant Sun Immortal Venerable, and the two would work together and attack Fang Yuan to suppress him, like what Fang Yuan considered earlier. A small mistake would cause the two venerables to attack him immediately. It was too likely. I can secretly deduce the heaven path killer move. But the collection of the primordial domain will need to wait. Even though the primordial domain was very useful to Fang Yuan, it was not the key now. Because it would cause both venerables to attack and cause Fang Yuan to lose his current advantage, the loss was not worth the gain. No, the heaven path killer move can wait. After all, once I gain this method, my luck will rise sharply. Also, I have rank 9 Heavenly Essence Treasure Imperial Lotus now. It has already increased the burden on obscured heavenly secret. Its expenditure is rising rapidly. What I need to do is to refine a second rank 9 Immortal Goo. This thought had been lingering in Fang Yuan's mind for a long time. As for what immortal goo he should refine, Fang Yuan already had an answer. That was immortal goo. Advanced refinement. Not spring-autumn cicada, dogshit luck, attitude, or dream token, but advanced refinement goo. Once advanced refinement goo becomes rank 9, it would be extremely useful for Fang Yuan to advance the rest of his rank 8 immortal goo. For example, when Fang Yuan refined Heavenly Essence Treasure Imperial Lotus, if he had rank 9 advanced refinement goo, the difficulty would be halved at least. Fang Yuan had two advantages when refining rank 9 advanced refinement goo. The first advantage was that Fang Yuan had rank 8 advanced refinement goo already. This goo came from Langya's sect. It was originally the core of the long hair refinement path formation. It was currently the core of 4 elements square regret blood refinement pool. Secondly, advanced refinement goo was a refinement path immortal goo. Even though some rule path immortal materials were needed in the process, it was much purer than Heavenly Essence Treasure Imperial Lotus. Refinement path immortal materials were the bulk of its components. Fang Yuan was a refinement path venerable. He could perfectly process refinement path immortal materials. This meant that the success rate would be much higher as well. Right when Fang Yuan was secretly thinking of refining rank 9 advanced refinement goo, Western Desert, the core area of Wind Falcon Desert. Bam! With a loud sound, a vast amount of sand flew into the sky, and immortal goo house charged out from underground. It was Fang Clan's rank 7 immortal goo house. Chicken Dog Co-op. This Chicken Dog Coop immortal goo house looked like two buildings side by side. The left building was yellow and had a round plaque that had chicken written on it. The right building was red and had the word dog on its plaque.As. Its entrance opened. Chicken and dog, ancient desolate beasts, flew out. There were tens of them. Chicken dog coop burst out with profound light, shaking heaven and earth. The empty desert suddenly had an oasis that appeared out of nowhere. This oasis had countless pine trees that were tall and sharp. Each one was at least 300 feet tall, and they were widely spaced apart. The trees spread their branches and leaves out. The leaves gathered into balls with an extremely flat surface that resembled a grassland on top of the pine leaf grassland. There were huge nests. Within the nests, there were long-distanced winged falcons. There were all sorts of winged falcons ranging from ordinary beasts, beast kings, desolate beasts, and even ancient desolate beasts. This tall pine oasis is incredible, as expected of one clan's resource point that is ranked second in Western Desert. Fang Yuan critiqued from within Chicken Dog Co-op. This was one clan's territory. The rank 7 Gu immortal expert of one clan that guarded this place was Wan Xiao. He did not show up. Instead, he controlled the immortal formation and defended against the attacks of the ancient desolate beasts. He scolded angrily. Feng clan, what are you trying to do? As a Western Desert Righteous Path superforce, you are actually attacking another Righteous Path superforce without reason. Within Chicken Dog Coop, Fang Yuan smiled coldly and replied, earlier, one clan gathered the Western Desert superforces to attack my Fang clan together. We will settle the score now. Do you really think my Fang clan is a weak target to bully? Chapter 2248, Winding Light Platform. Chapter 2248, Winding Light Platform. At the center of the formation, Wan Zhao's expression was solemn. He felt a huge rock pressing down on his mind. Fang clan's attack was too sudden. He was completely unguarded. The truth was, it was not that one clan had not made preparations. Even since they failed in rallying Western Desert Righteous Path superforces, one clan had prepared for Fang clan's retaliation. They sent more manpower to their large peripheral resource points, while also strengthening the defensive formations there. They even paid a huge price to request Xiao clan to set up a transportation formation in order to send reinforcements in time. But who could have thought that the moment Fang clan made a move, they actually bypassed the peripheral resource points and directly invaded deep into Wan clan's territory, attacking Wan clan's second largest resource point. Fang clan planned a long time for this. But how in the world did they come here? Wan Xiao was puzzled. Wan clan was already aware of Fang clan's 3 immortal Gu houses, Chicken Dog Coop, Inquiry Dock, and Fallen Flower Hall. None of them could accomplish this. Oh no. Right at this time, Wan Xiao shockingly sensed that the formation was shaking and the ground was quaking, as if an earth trench was about to form. A large number of pine trees of the tall pine oasis fell. This defensive formation's base is buried thousands of feet deep under the ground. Fang clan actually found it so precisely, they are destroying it. Wan Xiao quickly inspected and saw an immortal Gu house wreaking havoc underground, destroying the formation's base. Immortal formations usually had a formation base. It was like the foundation of a building, but much more important. Formation bases were incredibly important to the immortal formations. They were the foundation of the foundation, that if the formation base was destroyed, the formation would become extremely unstable, like a building with ruined foundation. With just a slight disturbance in the base, the formation would reveal a huge flaw and even be destroyed. Therefore, when Gu immortals set up immortal formations, they would hide the formation base. Some formation bases were hidden underground, some were hidden in the air, and some were kept in the center of the formation. This defensive formation in Tall Pine Oasis had existed for a long time, and because of the environmental restrictions, the Gu immortals who set the formation back then felt that only by burying the formation base deep underground could the formation take care of all aspects. It could defend and also nurture resources. But the formation base has been discovered and is being attacked. Fang clan is too insidious. They actually had an Earth Path immortal Gu house as well. Wan Xiao gritted his teeth. What made him feel an even greater chill was that Fang clan's methods were powerful and well-prepared. Whose plan was it? Isn't Fang Yuan trapped inside Divine Emperor City? Could it be that youngster Fang Yuan? What should I do? Wan Xiao was sweating all over. He had confidence earlier, as Tall Pine Oasis defensive formation was very strong. He had confidence to rely on the formation to hold on until Wan clan's reinforcements arrived. Fang clan had immortal gu houses. Wan clan naturally had them as well. When Wan clan's immortal gu houses arrived and coordinated with the defensive formation, it would not be difficult to force back Fang clan. Once Fang clan were forced back, it would be Wan clan's victory. Because Fang clan's action already crossed the limits of the Western Desert righteous path, such a defeat would definitely lower their reputation. Wan clan could take the chance to counterattack, rallying the other forces with a righteous reason. At that time, the reaction of Western Desert super forces would be different from before. But can I hold on until then? Wan Xiao was solemn. Wan clan headquarters. What? Fang clan attacked our tall pine oasis. After receiving Wan Zhao's letter, the expression of Wan clan's first supreme elder changed sharply. Wan Xiao had given a detailed description in the letter. The situation was serious and extremely urgent. Tall Pine Oasis was Wan clan's second largest resource point. It was a renowned super resource point in Western Desert, and even in the whole 5 regions, it could not be taken. Once it was destroyed or taken over, the losses would be enormous. Fang clan is really vicious. It is now a critical moment for my Wan clan. Wan clan's first supreme elder only had rank 7 cultivation and did not have outstanding battle strength. But he possessed an intuitive view of the big picture. He was deeply aware. Once Tall Pine Oasis fell into the enemy's hands, not only would they lose all the resources inside, Wan clan's reputation and prestige would also suffer a huge impact. Previously, Wan clan's rally did not succeed. Now, if the resource point were to be destroyed by Fang clan, in the eyes of everyone, Wan clan would become the weakest force in Western Desert's righteous path. They would be an object of ridicule and the representation of the weakest target. Once this thought emerged, Wan clan would head down the road of decline. Because in the current situation, with the chaotic war imminent, people's hearts were uneasy. If the chaotic war erupted, everyone would feel that Wan clan could be taken advantage of. This was a frightening situation for Wan clan. Hence, when Wan clan's first supreme elder received Wan Zhao's request for reinforcements, he immediately acted. He personally moved with Winding Light platform. Only a rank 6 Gu Immortal and a rank 7 Immortal Gu House were left to guard the headquarters that on his way. Wan clan's first supreme elder messaged all the Wan clan Gu Immortals. The Wan clan Immortals were shocked and furious. The peripheral territories are peaceful and have no disturbance. After receiving the replies, the brows of Wan clan's first supreme elder furrowed tightly. After some rapid thinking, he clenched his teeth and sent a command. Shortly after, Wan Hao Guang received this command. Zhui Qing, defend this place. If Fang clan attacks, you must retreat immediately. I need to hurry to Wind Falcon Desert to reinforce Wan Xiao. Wan Hao Guang immediately moved out. The relationship between him and Wan Zhao's relationship. Back then, 3 Wan clan immortals fought Fang Yuan, and Wan Xiao risked his life to save Wan Hao Guang. Now, Wan Hao Guang could similarly go to such an extent, but Wan Zhui Qing grabbed Wan Hao Guang's hand. Lord, it is too dangerous for you to go right now. We don't have clear information on what Fang clan's real arrangements are. If their plan of besieging the enemy stronghold is meant to strike at the reinforcements, wouldn't you be jumping right into a trap? I have a suggestion. Currently, Fang clan has entered deep into our Wan clan's territory. If we just defend, we will only receive a beating and fall into Fang clan's scheme. We may as well launch an attack and invade Fang clan's resource points. We should use offense against offense. Wan Hao Guang's eyes shone as he sized up Wan Zhui Qing and patted his shoulder. Good lad, you have improved. But, do you think First Supreme Elder did not think of this? Wan Hao Guang shook his head. First Supreme Elder asked experts like us to go and reinforce them because he does not have the confidence to force back Fang clan's forces. Fang clan's First Supreme Elder Fang Gong is a rank 8 expert. While we have not seen him since the start of the battle, he may very likely be inside Chicken Dog Co-op. According to your plan, even if we invade Fang clan's resource points, once we lose Tall Pine Oasis, our Wan clan will still suffer a huge loss. All those peripheral resource points of Fang clan combined cannot compare to our Tall Pine Oasis. Wan Zhui Qing turned pale as he deeply realized the cruelty of reality. even if they were not clear of Fang clan's true arrangements. Wan Haoguang had to go reinforce them, even if he had to risk his life, simply because they could not afford to lose Tall Pine Oasis. Boom! The formation base was destroyed. A huge flaw formed in the immortal formation from which Chicken Dog Coop charged in. Wan Xiao was furious, but could only maintain the damaged formation while clenching his teeth. With their home being invaded, wind falcons were provoked. They screeched as they attacked Chicken Dog Coop. Going against the chickens and dogs sent by Fang clan, a fierce fight between the beasts erupted as blood splashed everywhere. Chickens cawed, dogs barked, and falcons screeched. They formed a medley that resounded in the battlefield. An immemorial wind falcon clawed open the roof of Chicken Dog Co-op. The Fang Clan Gu immortals inside were already prepared. They repaired it in orderly and calm fashion. Fang Dichong laughed loudly. What an impressive, immemorial, desolate beast. Get in here. At the next moment, Chicken Dog Coop let out a beam of light. The beam enveloped the immemorial wind falcon and dragged it inside. The immemorial wind falcon struggled with all its strength, but its body kept on shrinking and its resistance grew weaker and weaker until it was finally absorbed by Chicken Dog Co-op. What? This immortal Gu house can suppress the immemorial wind falcon. Wan Zhao's heart shook. Chicken Dog Coop was an enslavement path immortal Gu house that could only enslave chickens and dogs, but who could have expected that it gained a new ability now? Enough is enough. Fang Clan, you will pay for this one day. I, Wan Xiao, swear upon it. Wan Xiao roared in his head as he stared at the wind falcons that were being suppressed by Chicken Dog Co-op. Fortunately, this situation did not continue for long. Wan Clan's first Supreme Elder appeared in the horizon with Wan Clan's immortal Gu house. Wan Xiao immediately relaxed. Winding light platform. Fang Dichong muttered as he saw this. This winding light platform was a rank 7 light path immortal Gu house. It was grayish-white with 8 sides and 8 corners. On the tall platform, Wan Clan's first Supreme Elder was standing straight, his face furious as he fixed his gaze on Chicken Dog Co-op. Both sides were still a few kilometers apart when winding light platforms suddenly shot out 4 beams of light. The beams actually bent in the air. They nimbly attacked Chicken Dog Coop from different directions. Under Fang Dichang's control, Chicken Dog Coop activated defensive killer moves and blocked all 4 beams. In this short while, winding light platform had arrived before Chicken Dog Co-op. Boom. With a loud explosive sound, Wan Clan's first Supreme Elder actually made winding light platform collide with Chicken Dog Co-op. The 2 immortal Gu houses collided before being mutually repelled. A large number of mortal Gu broke into pieces and scattered in the air. Wan Clan's first Supreme Elder, you have such a fiery temper. Fang Dichang's voice resounded in the battlefield. Wan Clan's first Supreme Elder and Wan Zhao's expressions changed. Fang Dichang? Weren't you trapped in Emperor City? No, inside Divine Emperor City? Fang Dichang's eyelids twitched as his voice turned heavy. That is not the important point. Wan Clan, I am representing Fang Clan to teach you a lesson. Don't think that any random force can find trouble with my Fang Clan. You speak with no shame. Wan Clan's first Supreme Elder shouted furiously. Immediately after, Winding Light Platform activated its killer move again. Tens of beams of light swept the battlefield. Chicken Dog Coop was forced back time and again, its ancient desolate beasts suffered serious casualties. Even the Earth Path Immortal Gu house that was deep underground also got struck by the light. It was almost destroyed. Fang Clan moved underground and invaded deep into our territory. It is very likely because of the ability of this Earth Path Immortal Gu house. But this Immortal Gu house seems fragile, or at least, its defensive aspect is not good enough. Wan Clan's first Supreme Elder immediately cheered up. Chapter 2249, Huge Commotion. Wan Clan's first Supreme Elder traveled in Winding Light Platform and arrived just in time. After fighting one round with Chicken Dog Coop, he immediately discovered the weakness of Fang Clan's Earth Path Immortal Gu house. When he discovered this, Wan Clan's first Supreme Elder did not hesitate to activate Winding Light Platform to shoot out beams of light at the underground Earth Path Immortal Gu house. The Earth Path Immortal Gu house quickly drilled deeper, evading with extreme nimbleness. Although its defense was nothing to boast about, its speed was astonishing. It dodged all the Some beams brushed past it, making for an extremely dangerous situation. Wan Clan's first Supreme Elder smiled. "Let me show you my Wan Clan Immortal Gu House's ability." Saying so, he activated Winding Light Platform's signature method. Immediately, those straight pure white beams of light underground started to bend and change their direction, attacking the Earth Path Immortal Gu House again. A large number of beams formed a web that shrouded the Earth Path Immortal Gu House from all sides. The Earth Path Immortal Gu House could only struggle fiercely, and after 10 or so breaths of time, it charged out of the ground. "I was waiting for you." The eyes of Wan Clan's first Supreme Elder shone sharply. "I shall destroy this Immortal Gu House as the payment for invading my Wan Clan." "Stop dreaming," Fang Dichang called out as he controlled Chicken Dog Coop to collide with Winding Light Platform. Wan Clan's first Supreme Elder gave a shout. Winding Light Platform shot out beams once again. The beams of light coiled around Winding Light Platform, connecting with each other as they formed a powerful defensive ring. Chicken Dog Coop collided onto the surface, but its strength was redirected by the winding beams, causing it to brush past Winding Light Platform. Immediately after, Winding Light Platform shot a ray of yellow light. The yellow light covered Fang Clan's Earth Path Immortal Gu House, holding it down on the spot. Wan Clan's first Supreme Elder poured in his immortal essence in a frenzy. The yellow light started to coil like a fried dough twist. Under the constriction of the yellow beam of light, Fang Clan's Earth Path Immortal Gu House started cracking. A large number of mortal goo were crushed to pieces. This move was Winding Light Platform's strongest method. In just a short 10 breaths of time, Fang Clan's Earth Path Immortal Gu House would be completely destroyed. Even the goo immortals inside could not escape alive. Wan Jueqing flew rapidly in the sky. His expression was extremely cold, but his heart was like a bright, burning flame. This was the fire of vengeance. Wan Jueqing's father was Wan Lianghan. The latter was a rank 7 Wisdom Path Gu Immortal. He had fought Fang Yuan with Wan Haoguang and Wan Xiao, resulting in his death in the battle. Back then, Fang Yuan hid in Fang Clan, so in Wan Jueqing's heart, it was the same as Fang Clan killing his father. The hatred of his father's murder was irreconcilable. Since the moment he learned of father's death, Wan Jueqing's life experienced a complete change. Previously, he was a second-generation immortal. With his father's support, he could be arrogant and complacent after the fall of his father who sheltered him from the cruelty of the outside world. Wan Jueqing matured quickly amidst the grief and fear that he realized that his comfortable life was the result of many people giving face to his father. He realized how fortunate he had been, and also realized his only hope now was to work hard. So, when Wan Clan's rally did not bear fruit, and they deployed immortals to defend their peripheral territories. Although Wan Jueqing was only at rank 6, he disregarded the risk and requested to be sent to a peripheral territory to defend the resource point. He knew that he had to display his value to the clan. If the value was not high, then he had to show his loyalty. He did not have any fortuitous encounters, so he could only rely on the clan. And the clan was not his father. Every time Wan Jueqing remembered how blessed he had lived when his father was alive, his hatred towards Fang Clan deepened. Wan Haoguang made me guard the resource point. But what can I, a mere rank 6 Gu Immortal, do? Even with the support of the Immortal Formation, Wan Haoguang is the main reliance to stall the enemies until reinforcements arrive. If Fang Clan's true motive is to attack the peripheral resource points, I will definitely not be able to defend mine. Since that is the case, I may as well risk it and attack Fang Clan's resource points. I will do what Wan Haoguang cannot do. Wan Jueqing decided to risk it. If he stayed to defend the resource point, and Fang Clan attacked strongly, he would at most be able to hold on for a while before he would need to retreat through the teleportation formation. Returning to the clan with such a result of losing the clan's resource point would be a small stain on his records at the very least. But if he attacked Fang Clan's resource point and made some gains, it would no doubt be a huge merit. Especially under the situation when Tall Pine Oasis was attacked and the casualties were high. In this situation, as long as Wan Jueqing succeeded, it would be like helping Wan Clan restore their prestige. At such a time, one merit or contribution will be counted as 10. The clan will also look at me differently. With the clan's rewards and increased support, I can progress rapidly. Otherwise, with my current growth speed, it will take forever before I can exact revenge for my father. After Wan Lianghan died, his goo worms were not left behind for Wan Jueqing. It was not easy for Wan Jueqing to cultivate, and he could only fight for opportunities by himself. I am here. The most peripheral resource point of Feng clan. Wan Jueqing slowed down. He restrained his aura and approached quietly. Feng clan, regarding the hatred of killing my father, I am going to take a bit of revenge now. However, after a while, Wan Jueqing was stupefied. He was standing dazedly on the spot, facing the desolate desert. Wasn't this the location of Flying Sand Tunnel? Wait a second, there are clear signs of relocation. Feng clan moved this resource point away. Wan Jueqing was puzzled. Was it necessary to do that? Just to prevent an improbable counterattack of Wan clan, they relocated the resource point. The loss in doing that was not small. When resource points were relocated, their productivity would fall, because the resource point was already in sync with the surrounding environment. Relocating a resource point was like moving trees. The roots would leave the land and lose the nutrients. Even if they were transplanted to a better land, they would need to adapt for some time. But how many areas were truly suitable for the resource point? Even if it was an area with denser earth path Tao marks, the difference in the arrangement of the Tao marks could result in the destruction of the resource point. Super forces rarely relocated their resource points. As far as enemies were concerned, relocating a resource point was like the frontline fortress being removed. It reduced the obstructions, and they could easily invade deeper. No, something is wrong. Super forces don't easily relocate their resource points, but it is different now. Heaven Refining Demon Venerable has been madly developing his sovereign immortal aperture. The Goo Refinement Price List and Treasure Yellow Heaven mostly asks for Earth Path resource points too. Feng clan could have secretly transacted with Fang Yuan using these resource points as the payment. Then, how many immortal Goo did they exchange for? A shocking thought flashed by Wan Jueqing's mind, turning his face pale as paper. Feng clan has secretly traded with Fang Yuan. Their strength has increased greatly. Our information on Feng clan is way off. Oh no, Tall Pine Oasis is in danger. When he realized this, Wan Jueqing immediately sent a message to Wan clan's first Supreme Elder through Treasure Yellow Heaven. But at this time, Wan clan's first Supreme Elder was controlling Winding Light Platform and making the final attacks on Feng clan's Earth Path Immortal Goo House. How could he spare any time to look at Wan Jueqing's message? Break. Wan clan's first Supreme Elder shouted. Humph, wishful thinking. Right at this time, a figure suddenly appeared above Wan clan's first Supreme Elder. Rank 8 aura surged like a tide. It was Feng clan's first Supreme Elder, Rank 8 Feng Gong. Wan clan's first Supreme Elder, however, did not even take a glance at Feng Gong. His sight was fixed on the Earth Path Immortal Goo House. He wanted to destroy this Immortal Goo House to make Feng clan suffer a heavy loss. As for his safety, Wan clan's first Supreme Elder was confident in the protection of Winding Light Platform. However, all this was within Feng clan's plan. Immortal Killer Move. Roof Tile Breaker. Feng Gong activated a killer move and slammed down with his palms. Ripples spread around Winding Light Platform as it blocked Feng Gong's attack. Bam bam bam. Feng Gong slammed down without stopping. Palm shadows flew in the air as attacks rained down on Winding Light Platform. Rank 7 Winding Light Platform possessed Rank 8 battle strength, blocking all of Feng Gong's attacks. But the expression of Wan clan's first Supreme Elder changed abruptly. He made a horrifying discovery. Every attack of Feng Gong's possessed a strange power, although it could not destroy Winding Light Platform's defensive methods. The power infiltrated the inside and caused severe damage to Winding Light Platform's goo worms. Almost in an instant, Winding Light Platform was damaged to a great extent. The yellow beams of light that had been restricting Feng clan's Earth Path Immortal Goo House lost their source of power and dispersed completely. Wan clan's first Supreme Elder almost spat blood from anger after seeing this. Feng clan, you have gone too far. Wan clan's first Supreme Elder immediately controlled Winding Light Platform to retreat. He realized Feng clan was targeting him. More accurately, they were targeting Wan clan's Immortal Goo House. Compared to Tall Pine Oasis, Winding Light platform was Fang clan's true objective. Yuan clan's first supreme elder used all his strength to retreat, but since Fang clan saw their real objective, why would they let it go so easily? Under a normal situation, other Gu immortals might not be able to block an immortal Gu house's charge and could only evade. But Fang Gong was an exception. Fang Gong held down Winding Light platform, while Chicken Dog Coop also attacked. After enduring for a while, Winding Light platform crumbled apart loudly. Yuan clan's first supreme elder's mind was filled with anger as he attacked Fang Gong. Fang Gong's expression was indifferent. Yuan clan's first supreme elder, remember this moment. Our Fang clan is not to be trifled with. This Winding Light platform is the price for going against us. Fang Gong punched lightly towards Yuan clan's first supreme elder while maintaining his momentum. Yuan clan's first supreme elder only had rank 7 cultivation. He simply could not catch Fang Gong's attention. But at the next moment, Yuan clan's first supreme elder's expression suddenly stiffened. His killer move's activation failed, causing him to get hit by an intense backlash. He was also struck by Fang Gong's punch. He immediately turned into meat pulp, losing his life. Everyone was stumped, including Fang Gong and Fang Dichang. First Supreme Elder. Wan Xiao cried mournfully. He rode a winged falcon and took the chance to escape Tall Pine Oasis. His movement shook the Fang clan's immortals as they regained their senses. What should we do now? Fang Gong transmitted his voice to Fang Dichang with an awkward expression. Fang Dichang's expression was dark. How could you kill Yuan clan's first supreme elder? This was different from their plan. Fang clan's true target was Yuan clan's immortal Gu house. Yuan clan had 2 immortal Gu houses. Both were rank 7 and could fight rank 8. They were the foundation which Yuan clan relied on to be a super force. Their significance was far higher than that of Tall Pine Oasis. Getting rid of Winding Light platform would be the greatest victory for Fang clan. Fang clan's prestige would rise sharply. No superforce would dare to rashly unite against them again, but on the contrary, Yuan clan would lose one of their rank 7 immortal Gu houses. From then on, they could only hole up in their territory, unable to cause any more trouble. But it was different now. Yuan clan's first supreme elder was dead. This was a huge issue. Yuan clan would definitely retaliate with all their strength. They could use this reason to gather Western Desert's Righteous Path forces and form a punitive expedition against Fang clan. Because Fang clan had gone way beyond the limits. Not only did they battle without prior notice, they even killed the other clan's first supreme elder. It was like a neighbor suddenly crashing into someone's home and killing its owner. This action of Fang clan was completely a demonic path action. Righteous Path forces would be frightened, afraid that they would be the next Yuan clan. Thereupon, Western Desert's super forces would definitely unite. I already held back in that punch, but Yuan clan's first supreme elder was in an agitated state. He seemed to have triggered his killer move's backlash, and by some freak coincidence, lost his life. Fang Gong said with a sigh. Although they won, Fang Gong was not happy. Even the other Fang clan Gu immortals felt a heavy mood, because all of them knew this matter was huge now. Only one person was different. Tang Fangming was hiding deep underground, excited and fearful. Amazing. This Dream Path killer move is truly amazing. Yuan clan's first supreme elder lost his life because of this, but Fang clan is completely unaware. I have accomplished Lord Fang Yuan's mission. 1. A type of food. Google for image. Chapter 2250. Fang Yuan's scheme. Chapter 2250. Fang Yuan's scheme. Countless thoughts surged in Fang Dichang's mind like tall towers before quickly collapsing. The rising and collapsing of the thoughts for thousands of times caused Fang Dichang to sweat profusely and his face to flush red. Evidently, his wisdom path deductions reached his limits. This is bad, extremely bad. Fang Dichang mumbled with an ugly expression. All the results of the deductions let him see the miserable future of Fang clan. Previously, Yuan clan's rallying failed. Thus, Fang clan avoided a calamity. In truth, this was mainly because of the uncertain relationship of Fang clan and Fang Yuan. Adding on that the 5 regional walls were gone, and with the fusion of the 2 heavens, Gu immortals were worried for their own safety and maintained caution. However, Fang Dichang was very clear of the true nature of great love, immortal venerable. If Fang clan were to be besieged by Western Desert's super forces, Fang Yuan would never stand up for them. Fang Yuan only prioritized real benefits. Unless Feng clan paid a high price that moved Fang Yuan's heart, he would never help Feng clan. Like this time, Feng clan first had the intention of attacking Yuan clan before they secretly transacted with Fang Yuan. Feng clan paid a lot of resource points to advance the rank of the core immortal goo of roof tile breaker killer move in exchange for many immortal goo to construct that earth path immortal goo house that if Fang Yuan did not help, Feng clan and Fang Yuan's true relationship would be exposed. Then Feng clan would face destruction. Could Feng clan pay the price for Fang Yuan's help? Fang Dichong had no confidence in this. What made him more worried was that even if Feng clan could pay a high price to request for Fang Yuan's assistance, what if the other super forces tried to imitate them? Could Feng clan match their price? No matter what Feng clan chooses, Fang Yuan will be the biggest winner. Fang Dichong gritted his teeth as he thought. Fang Yuan destroyed his body and captured his soul. Fang Dichong could not forget this hatred. What should we do? This first Supreme Elder is really the shame of Yuan clan. He actually fought so carelessly. Maybe we can revive him, Fang Gong suggested with a frown. Fang Dichong shook his head that he had already thought of this, but they could not do it. Not to mention that Feng clan did not have a method to revive goo immortals. They might need to request help from others to revive Yuan clan's first Supreme Elder. Even if they succeeded in reviving Yuan clan's first Supreme Elder, would this grudge be gone? It was similar to how Fang Dichong was killed by Fang Yuan and his soul captured, but was released later on. Was the hatred between him and Fang Yuan gone? How could that be possible? This grudge deepened. On the contrary, it could be said that the enmity between Feng clan and Yuan clan was already impossible to resolve. Yuan clan was definitely going to retaliate with their full strength. Under this situation, were Feng clan to revive Yuan clan's first Supreme Elder, it would be like reviving their enemy, who would give them more trouble in the future. It was too stupid. Naturally, goo immortals had endless methods. There were many ways to resolve the hatred. For instance, the publicly known spring-autumn cicada. As long as the rebirth succeeded, everything could start anew. There were also wisdom path methods to change the feelings of Yuan clan's immortals, but these methods would need to be of an extremely high rank to be effective on all the Yuan clan immortals, and Feng clan did not have them. Huff. Fang Dichong sighed. Sharp light flashed past his eyes as he said heavily, "We can only continue to go forward now. We will go attack Yuan clan's headquarters and deal a huge blow to them." Fang Gong narrowed his eyes, while the other Feng clan goo immortals felt a chill in their hearts. This matter had already become big. Feng clan would no doubt face huge trouble. Since that was the case, there was no need to hesitate. They might as well disregard the consequences and weaken Yuan clan as much as possible. All right. Fang Gong made the decision. Feng clan immediately collected Chicken Dog Coop and got inside the Earth Path Immortal Goo House, moving towards Yuan clan's headquarters through the underground. However, when they reached Yuan clan's headquarters, there was no one there. Yuan clan's goo immortals had evacuated long ago. Their remaining Immortal Goo House Myriad Age building, as well as all the resources in the headquarters and treasuries, were also completely gone. Feng clan's immortals were livid. This was the worst situation for Feng clan. After a while of silence, Fang Dichong suggested, "First Supreme Elder, at this point, I can only ask you to move with Chicken Dog Coop and clean out Yuan clan's resource points. I will lead the others to go back to our headquarters and prepare for war." Fang Gong nodded. "I guess we have no choice." Fang Dichong's expression was extremely solemn. For Feng clan to get past this trial, we must rely on Fang Yuan. The more resource points you can loot, the more immortal goo we can exchange from Fang Yuan and have greater hope. I understand. Fang Gong chose 2 people to go with him inside Chicken Dog Coop. They disappeared in the horizon. Fang Dichong led the remaining Feng clan immortals back to Feng clan's headquarters in the Earth Path Immortal Goo House. That a storm was coming. Everyone in Feng clan was tense. They were like tigers who sensed threats to their lives. Hair stood on ends, and their eyes opened wide, as they prepared to oppose the retaliation of a group of savage beasts. Eastern sea breeze was blowing, and birds were chirping. Fang Yuan was calmly undergoing a goo refinement attempt. Inside Sovereign Immortal Aperture, the refinement of Rank 9 Advanced Refinement had reached the mid-late stage. It was too easy. This was Fang Yuan's biggest impression. Even though this was the refinement of a rank 9 immortal Gu, it was completely different from the previous time. This time, Fang Yuan was not under the external pressure brought by Giant Sun Immortal Venerable, Star Constellation Immortal Venerable, and Spectral Soul Demon Venerable. He also did not need to guard the Heavenly Spirit. Another crucial point was Heavenly Essence Treasure Imperial Lotus was a Wood Path Immortal Gu, but Advanced Refinement Gu was a Refinement Path Immortal Gu. The latter came under Fang Yuan's specialty. It was much easier for him to process Refinement Path Immortal materials than to handle Wood Path Immortal materials. Fang Yuan was even dealing with other matters while refining the rank 9 Immortal Gu. Fang Clan's message arrived quickly, and it contained a list. The contents of the list were over 10 resource points. It did not lack large resource points, and there was even a super resource point. Over these days, Fang Gong displayed the strength of a rank 8 Gu Immortal. Fang Dichong managed the overall situation and even dispatched Inquiry Doc. Fang Clan combed through Wan Clan's territories, occupying many of the resource points. Looks like Fang Clan gained a lot. Sure enough, every person has potential. How can it appear if they are not pressured? Fang Yuan smiled lightly. After Fang Clan entered the Heaven and Earth Great Love Alliance, they made secret transactions by seeing the several immortal Gu that Fang Clan exchanged for. Fang Yuan could deduce Fang Clan's plan that it was also reasonable for Fang Clan to retaliate against Wan Clan for self-preservation. Since Tang Clan's name was intentionally concealed by Fang Yuan, it was rather special for Fang Yuan to only be connected to Fang Clan among all the Western Desert super forces. Previously, Wan Clan gathered Western Desert's Righteous Path forces to attack Fang Clan. This had already deeply provoked Fang Clan. Wan Clan's rally failed. Fang Clan let out a breath of relief before deciding to take the chance to attack Wan Clan. This was a sensible move of using offense as defense. Fang Yuan immediately developed a plan when he noticed this. He manipulated the scene from behind, helping Fang Clan with the Immortal Gu and raising their strength, while also sending a command to Tang Clan, imparting a Dream Path Killer move to Tang Fang Ming, and also lending a Dream Path Immortal Gu. Currently, Fang Clan had already stepped into Fang Yuan's trap, becoming the source of disturbance in Western Desert. For self-preservation, they must cooperate with Fang Yuan even more deeply, seizing resource points for Fang Yuan. On the other hand, Tang Clan schemed against Fang Clan. This was the same as Fang Yuan gaining a huge hold over them. Fang Yuan's influence over Tang Clan deepened much more. In the letter, Fang Clan asked for a lot of Immortal Gu, and also requested Fang Yuan to personally go to Western Desert and display the invincibility of Great Love Immortal Venerable, if necessary. For this, Fang Clan agreed to pay everything. They want me to make a move? Fang Yuan sneered. How could it be possible? In the current situation of the contest of 3 venerables, Fang Yuan had to make the most of every moment. It was impossible for him to make a move for Fang Clan. He was using Fang Clan, using them as a chess piece. A chess piece was a chess piece. It should be sacrificed when necessary. Unless the value of the chess piece was extremely high and could not be replaced, Fang Yuan would not go defend it personally. Who among Fang Yuan's subordinates could not be replaced? No one. Fang Yuan could even abandon his own clones without hesitation when necessary. Why would he make a move for Fang Clan? Heavenly Court, Star Constellation Immortal Venerable had just started refining Heavenly Court's Wisdom Path Dao marks when an important message arrived. There is a change in Western Desert. Fang Clan invaded Wan Clan. Star Constellation Immortal Venerable's eyes flickered with starlights. There is something fishy about Fang Clan being so radical. Did Fang Yuan secretly fuel the situation? Star Constellation Immortal Venerable quickly thought of this detail. After all, the whole 5 regions knew about Fang Clan openly joining the Heaven and Earth Great Love Alliance. Fang Clan's strength rose sharply. Fang Yuan clearly supported them from behind. Wan Clan was caught unprepared, and Wan Clan's first Supreme Elder died in battle. Looks like Fang Yuan is intentionally causing unrest in Western Desert. Fang Clan is actually willing to be ordered like this by Fang Yuan, making a move that puts the clan's survival in risk. It seems Fang Yuan's influence over Fang Clan is much deeper than I thought. This is not good. Star constellation Immortal Venerable frowned slightly. She quickly sensed Fang Yuan's true motive. Fang Yuan does not care about Feng clan. Even though he needs the resource points to develop the sovereign immortal aperture, his main target is to set an example of Feng clan to influence the Gu immortal world of the whole 5 regions and 2 heavens. Fang Yuan was a refinement path venerable. It was extremely easy for him to refine immortal Gu. With his investment, any superforce's strength would soar rapidly. It was the so-called, with a sharp weapon in hand, killing intent rises. Fang Yuan's simple transaction could break the power balance that had existed for a long time in the 5 regions Gu immortal world at present. Western Desert superforces already understood the benefits of transacting with Fang Yuan. On one hand, Fang Yuan was openly transacting immortal Gu in Treasure Yellow Heaven, and the price was affordable to the superforces. On the other hand, he created the Heaven and Earth Great Love Alliance, allowing any superforce to join the alliance. Moreover, once they joined the alliance, they could transact secretly and obtain a lot of benefits. Feng clan joined the alliance, so they could transact secretly and raise their strength. Now, Wan clan Gu immortals did not even dare to show up. They could only let Feng clan loot almost all of their resource points. This trend was truly dangerous. The gains of Feng clan moved people, while the miserable state of Wan clan deterred them. What could superforces do in this situation? The simplest choice was to join the Heaven and Earth Great Love Alliance.